Welcome to week 14 of my self-important Magic the Gathering show. First, some uh, housekeeping. Yeah, from last week. Uh, in the Zancha deck, I took out all of the Madness stuff, all of the discard stuff that I put in because of Land's Edge, and I replaced it with stuff that I think goes better in the deck. First of all, I remembered Underworld Connection existed, so I put that in the deck. I redid this whole section for the things that probably burn, because maybe it'll burn, maybe I get a creature. Probably discard because they have the option not to. Possibly draw because I may or may not be allowed to draw. Probably removal because they may or may not let sacrifice anything. Let's see, I think that's what that was called the whole time. And then I put in these removal pieces. Baleful Mastery, and then these Chaos ones, because they get stuff off of the top of their deck. Instant, instant, instant. Oh, and they're all instant too. Then I also added Villainous Choice items and voting items for more my opponent's making choices stuff. So that's how I filled out the deck. I did not end up putting Black Market into Pyro Pestilence, but I did end up putting it into Original Pestilence, taking out Steel Shaper's Gift and Stoneforge Mystic, adding in as well a Solemn Simulacrum, so that it can, ramps me land and draws me a card when it inevitably catches the plague and goes away. With that out of the way, I still love this deck. Golgari. That is black and green, another color combination I really like. And the first deck we're going to do today is an amusing one. It's Yargle and Multani. 3 black, black, green for an 18/6 Frog Spirit Elemental with no abilities. Just this flavor text. I've heard much about you from my daughter, Multani rumbled. There was a time when I'd balk at your aid, Phantom, but she has shown me the merit in Urborg's strange ways. Gnush ribbit, replied Yargle. I could have tried to say that funnier. Pretend that's like the Murloc noise from World of Warcraft. So, yeah, no abilities. We don't really have anywhere to go other than this thing has 18 power. You might know from the rules of Commander that if a player takes 21 total damage from a single commander, they lose. And 18 is only 3 less than 21. So that's what we're going to try to do. First things first, we got to get lands into this deck. Oh, we're also going to put regular Yargle in this deck. Yargle is 4 and a black for a 9/3, half of the stats. And he's just a Frog Spirit. So basically, like, this is a team-up card from March of the Machines. So Yargle is bringing to the team his stats, and Multani's just making them stronger. So let's go T land, T forest, or T swamp. Five forests, 1 haunted mire, 5 snow-covered swamps, 5 regular swamps, this overgrown tomb, 5 regular swamps, the surveil land, the snow land. Then we trade these T's for O's. Just getting our usual suspects. We're not doing Cabal coffers. We are going to do Castle Garenbrig though, because since our commander costs so much, we need all the help we can get. Ignoring that row. We can ignore all of that row. Ignore all of that row. There we're at row. Necrobossum Snarl. There we go. Tainted Wood. I guess that's not a usual suspect. That's just a black deck suspect. We're going to put in Urborg and the Verge and the Cemetery and the Cradle of Growth. Getting fancy with our lands. Then we want two or more. So the Glade and the Stadium. Then we hit over here. Let's click Cycles to see what that brings up. So we want the Command Tower. We'll take the Wastes. We want the Rot Farm. That's the bounce one. Still don't like these. We're going to add the Mire. Just kind of doing a quick look. Okay, scroll to top. Oh, that put us at 37. Look at that. I'm not going to bother doing my normal thing here. Who am I kidding? Who do I think I'm kidding? Let's go to this forest. Let's view all printings. So there's, whoops, Mom, the set that he's from. We'll just do these 5. And then we will go down to the... Actually, we'll start with the snow-covered, because this is quick. It's just that one. Then we do that. We click here. Then we click there. Then we go to the swamps. We click all printings. We type in the word Mom. And then we go with that one. There we go. Then let's pretty up Yargle. They call it a finisher. That's so silly, because it is not. Oh, there's the Yargle cereal. That's so silly. And then there's this other secret layer, I guess, that they don't have the art for. Didn't mean to do that. We'll use that stained glass, but not foil. I think that's, because I know that's stained glass. I figure that is also stained glass. Not entirely sure. Okay, so now we do our ramp. Go back over here. We don't actually need to do it like that. First, we add in our cold dead hands. Then we add card that should not exist. I mean, we can say the same about Command Tower. Like, that kind of pandering to Commander. I'll use them because they exist, but I'm still going to be one of those hypocrites who complain about stuff that he uses anyway. Use the goal signet. The talisman of... It is resilience. I remember that. From something? No, I haven't picked it before. I just think I've been looking at them a lot more recently, trying not to embarrass myself. Then let's do some land ramp. Let's group these by categories. Into the north. Rampant growth. Nature's lore. And 3 visits. So that puts us at 9 out of 10 pieces of ramp. We just got to think of what... I mean, we're probably going to want more ramp, because our commander is A, expensive, and B, removal bait by himself. So let's put in the Cold Steel Heart. Even though it can only choose one of the 2 colors, and then Charcoal Diamond, Moss Diamond. I feel smart for remembering that. The Sakura Tribe Elder, which is basically a rampant growth, only it's a creature. Very weird. You can sacrifice it at instant speed to rampant growth, but until then, it's a 1/1 creature. That can be important. So that's 13 pieces of ramp. Trying to think real quick, because we could go up to 15 and I'd still be happy, but I can't. This is where we do an early dip to EDH rec for artifacts, even though it's probably going to be a lot of it's going to be these things that... Oh, there we go, Thought Vessel. Then we want this, and we want the Trailblazers boots. There's other stuff that's going to go in here. But yes. Mind Stone. There. That is now 15 pieces of ramp. And then... Now we go back over here. We go T equipment. And then open a parentheses. Hex proof or shroud or indestructible. Whoops. Bilbo's ring. No. There we go. This is all to protect our commander. This will also make... This one also makes equipping easier, because when this thing comes into play, it auto-equips, and then it allows other things to auto-equip. Prevents all combat damage. That's also good. Dark Steel Plate. Cauldron Complete is expensive, but it's funny as heck, because it gives +5/+5, which means our commander one-shots. But also Indestructible, Trample, First Strike, and Haste. Mirror Shield protects us from our opponents having Death Touch creatures. Mask of Absent isn't even good, but it's still going in. Shadow Spear is here for other reasons, because it can remove Hexproof and Indestructible from our opponent's stuff. Let's see, and then the Mithril Coat, and the Whisperseer Cloak, because that reminds me. Well, it doesn't remind me, but it brings up a good point. Be blocked. So we want Brotherhood Regalia. Hot Soup is asking for trouble. Psychic Paper, Prowler's Helm. Cannot be blocked by more than one creature. So there we go with that. What are we at? We're at 73. We're at 73 and we haven't put in another creature. They put it under draw, but I'm going to put it under evasion. And then I'm going to select all and put all of our evasion under protection. And then Bow of, that gives our attacking creatures death touch. We're going to put it over here. We're going to go death touch life gain as its own thing, and then a whip of Erebos. And that gives our creatures lifelink. So if we get these out, that just makes this guy better. Let's go in here. Now we want T instant O permanent. Because now we're going to grab our what removal spells I want. So we want Assassin's Trophy, we want Atomize, we want Beast Within, we want Drag to the Roots, I was just rereading that really quick. We want Heroic Intervention, even though it has nothing to do with this, but this because this protects our commander once. Mortality Spear. Tammio's Safekeeping. That makes me think maybe we'll play it dangerous and not put Heroic Intervention in either. Let's be wild. Tear Asunder. And Windgrace's Judgment. How many pieces of removal does that give us? That gives us 7 pieces of removal. And they all target permanents or non-land permanents. And that brings us up to 82. What else do we want? Let's take Palace Siege. So if this is in play, we can just let Yargle go to the graveyard, and then as long as this is out. Although that is kind of a gamble that I'm not a fan of. What else do we want? When in doubt, we get ideas from... I don't think there's any other artifacts we really want. Oh, Sad Robot. Thank you for the reminder, EDA Trek. Equip creature has flying and lifelink, and if it dies, we can pay life to draw cards. I like that. Also, Frog wearing this... I was about to dunk on the mask, but I guess it's not totally dumb. That's a cool mask. I take back Kai's Ghost Form protects it once. Rancor protects it once. But in ways that we don't have to keep it in our hand and hold up mana. Oh, Phyrexian Arena. We're not doing Phyresis. Phyrexian Arena reminded me that we want... oh, we don't need to type it here. We want black market connections. And underworld connections for additional pieces of draw. It's funny how they don't have well, I guess they don't have it because they don't include things I already put in the deck. So I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking stupid thoughts. What else do they want? They want stuff like this, one-time use. Draw us cards. Never been and other pieces, sources of removal. Oh, they're instead of trying to save Yargle and Multani, first I have to see if it's in... I thought of a funny card. Tend the... So if Yargle is ever going to die, and we have no way to save it, we sacrifice Yargle to create 18 pest creature tokens, give or take whatever his power is at the time. That amuses me. Let's see what creatures they have. Of course, they want all of... oh, we'll do Goreclaw. And Galta just to have another big creature. Ghoul-Caller Gisa can turn Yargle into a bunch of zombies. Ruxa can make it to where Yargle deals his damage as though it wasn't blocked when he does get blocked, or if he does get blocked. Silent Arbiter over here, since we only plan on attacking with Yargle anyway, no more than one creature can attack or block each combat. Another card that can sacrifice Yargle to draw cards. We probably want more things to give Yargle haste, because we definitely want to be pressuring. I'm going to move Rancor to protection, because that's what it does for me. We're also going to use move Galta to Finisher just to be with this Yargle. I would put this under Evasion if Evasion still had a section. Oh, and we now have 17 pieces of ramp, though 2 of them are 4 mana, so I don't really count them as ramp. Like, once you get past... Like, you could argue, if you do mana value 2 as your hard line for ramp, I would agree with you. But for me, my absolute hard line is 3, I feel. Like, after that, it's... I mean, sure, it's still technically ramp, and that's correct. But that's not when you want to be ramping anymore. Like, you have it because... I don't know. I don't know why we just don't. You know why? Because this thing does ramp and card draw as long as it dies and doesn't get exiled. Tindapest is going down. Oh yeah, it goes down here. I was thinking of something else. What's funny is that if this was a 60 card constructed format, in addition to Tindapests, I would have a Colleen Ritual, which would kill off all the pests and add black or green mana and the combination of my choice for each thing that died. Oh, the Skull Spore Nexus, by the way, is 6 green green, but it costs less, equal to the greatest power of the among creatures you control. But when one or more non-token creatures die, you get a fungus dinosaur with base power equal to the dead creature's power and toughness equal to the total power of the creatures that died. And then you can also double target creature's power until end of turn, so that's neat. So what we want to do here is have haste or gains haste. And then we'll check to see if my spelling is correct. Yeah. Okay, Congordant Crossroads. It's something we'd hold into our hand and cast the same turn as we cast our commander, meaning, you know, we'd hold back our commander. But that's assuming we drew this. World Enchantment, there's not many of those that people care about. Basically, it's this one. Was Land's Edge World Enchantment? Man, I already forgot because I didn't look. That would have been a fun thing to talk about last episode. Helm of the Host is funny for this, but it's a big mana investment for something that we're not trying to do. Yeah, so we managed to add one more thing that gives us haste. I feel that's correct. And you know what? Ruxik gets to go over here. Because Yargle attacking and dealing damage as they're not blocked, that could finish someone. So what are we at? We are 3 left. We're not even a half hour in. So we're going to be doing several decks today. What else do we want? We only have 5 pieces of card draw. We have Heck and Ramp. Oops, I already forgot the number. 3 more. Let's see what other kinds of card draw. Let's see what sorceries we have recommended. There's the Culling Ritual. Toxic Deluge, basically for pay 5 life to get rid of everything that's not Yargle. Reanimate as a way to get it back. Not Return of the Wild Speaker, pay 5 to draw 18. could always put in more cheap but less universal removal. I think I will do that. Like, we'd be... It's funny how many cards we'd be discarding. And then enchantment. Greater Good, which I feel like is a game changer, but we'll have to check by doing this. It is not. So, Greater Good is sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to its power, then discard 3 cards. You know, and then that's also at instant speed. This is at instant speed. We can also increase its power to 21 if we choose to go that route, to make sure someone loses. Now one more. Oh, Rancor gives trample, and also it goes back to our hand if it goes to the graveyard. Kai's ghost form will turn a creature to play if it dies once. Sorry, I just got distracted by thoughts. I still like Golgari Gisa. Kind of wish we had like a fling, but that's a red effect. We're gonna go back in here. We're gonna look at creatures one more time. Elves, what is this? Oh, yeah, Gerard. Okay, that can be the last card. Pay 1, a black and a green, to make everybody lose 18 life. And this thing can also bring itself back from the graveyard. He ain't going to be very big, though, because we don't have a lot of creatures in this deck. Oh, Ruthless Technomancer to create treasures. Selvala for ramp, but I don't think we need this. I don't think we need these 2 pieces in ramp. If Disciple of Volus had flash, because since you gain life and draw cards equal to a creature's power for sacrificing it, it would be good, but... Oh, yeah, we could play double power and toughness stuff. But no, I think this is fine. And we're just gonna call this deck after the commander, because co-pilot, I will strangle you. Swing con. Attack with our commander for big damage. Save changes. Oh yeah, we're gonna keep going. Let's do another one. Here. Those are some deck theories for the future. You got a little preview. So we're just gonna call this Golgari 2 for now, and it's private. Oh, I actually know who I want. We want Chatterfang. Set as commander. Chatterfang is 2 and a green for a 3/3 Squirrel Warrior with Forest Walk. If one or more tokens will be created under our control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. And then we can pay black and sacrifice X squirrels to make a creature both stronger and smaller butted until end of turn. You'll usually see it to get rid of creatures more often than you'll see it to push damage through. And I did this, and let's open this in the new tab because we want to import some cards because we don't want we're actually going to do it this way. We're going to export our deck. We only want certain categories. We want our lands. We want our ramp. And we want our removal. And then we copy it. And then we save it. Oh, whoops. Ha ha ha. There. All cards have been added. So that gets the 37 lands, the 17 pieces of ramp, though we're going to go down to 16 because we don't need that one. We're probably going to drop the Sakura Tribe over there too, and honestly we don't need the Solemn. We don't need the Thought Vessel. And we don't need the Mind Stone. Let's see. But we'll stay at 12, and then we're going to keep all of these pieces of removal, and then we can close that. There are 2 ways that we can build Chatterfang, and I'm going to show off both of them since I think we will have time. But first, at this stage of the deck, we are cloning the deck. And we're going to call the new one Golgari 3. That is also private. Great deck. And then we'll come back to that when it is time. So the first way is the fun but silly way. Because you can either lean into that you get extra squirrels when you create tokens, or you can just lean into the fact that it's squirrels. And that's what we're going to do for the fun way. We're going to lean into squirrels. So we're going to go O squirrel or T squirrel. Commander BG blue green, because I am going to click that button because we are going to be silly. Because we are going to add cards like a Cornelia, Fashionable Filcher. She is an unset card, but she's not so out there that I don't think that people would complain if you wanted to rule 0 her in your deck. She is 3 and a black for a 3/3 squirrel. No Like, she could have been a rogue since she's a filcher, but they decided not to. Unless they did. Nope, they did not. Whenever you cast a spell with a squirrel in the art, and that's why it's a silver border, by the way, because it cares about art, you get an acorn counter. Whenever a squirrel you control enters the battlefield or dies, you also get an acorn counter. Now she has these two activated abilities, 2 and a black, and spend X number of acorn counters. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. Or green and X acorn counters. Target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn. We like that. That's fun. Now over here, animal friend, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has, whenever this creature attacks, create a squirrel. And then you put a +1/+1 counter on it for each aura and equipment attached to this creature, other than animal friend. That's fun. Vicar's Bane Duo doesn't do anything interesting, so it doesn't go in. Cash grab, nope. Bushy Bodyguard, nope. Bone Cache Overseer. Pay 1 life, draw a card. Activate only if 3 or more cards left your graveyard this turn, or if you sacrifice the food this turn. Huh, well, we'll have to look into that, won't we? No. Huh. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-creature token, they get 2 poison counters. Nah, we're not going to mess with poison. Kamiya, depending on how you want to pronounce double L's. The Seed Miser. 1 black-green, 3/3, Squirrel Warlock, fancy. Menace. Other squirrels have menace. You control have menace. Whenever you sacrifice 1 or more food, you get a squirrel. Forage. Put a +1/+1 counter on each other squirrel you control. Well, 2 in forage. To forage, exile 3 cards from your graveyard, or sacrifice a food. We're probably going to be looking into food. Chatter the Squirrel creates a squirrel, but it also has flashback. Chatterstorm creates a squirrel, but it also has storm, which means you copy it for each spell that was cast before it. We are not bothering with these. They are fun, but we can do better. That cares about rolling dice. We ain't rolling dice. We're not doing that. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature card was put in your graveyard from anywhere this turn, create 2 squirrels. So that basically means if any non-token creature died or was milled, we'll do that, just in case. And it's a background. Chitter Spitter, 2 and a green for an artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a token, like a squirrel. If you do, put an acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. Squirrels you control get +1/+1 for each acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. Then you can pay a green, tap, make a squirrel. We're ignoring this alchemy cards. Those have digital only effects, so we're not messing with that. Curious Forager. No, we're not going to mill. Deep Forest Hermit, an elf druid with vanishing 3. We create 4 squirrels, and vanishing means that it disappears in 3 turns because of these time counters, and we're not putting anything in to proliferate those time counters so he stays around longer. But our squirrels are bigger while he's around. There's Deranged Hermit. He also creates 4 squirrels when he enters and gives squirrels +1/+1. The problem is, of course, is that he has Echo, which means you have to repay his mana cost the next turn or he goes away. So it's like the Deep Forest Hermit, but kind of worse. But hey, it's 5 mana for a temporary buff and 4 squirrels, 8 for commanders in play. This guy doesn't go away immediately, but only makes 2 squirrels, but has this really expensive pump effect to give our squirrels +1/+0 and menace. Druid's Call. Whenever enchanted creature is dealt damage, we put that many squirrel creatures into play, so that's cool. Another card, because of course we weren't just going to put the one in. This is the Earl of Squirrel. 4 green 4/4 Squirrel Advisor. It has Squirrel Link. Damage dealt by this creature also causes you to create that many squirrels. All creature tokens you control have the squirrel subtype in addition to any other creature types. And then other squirrels get +1/+1. So that's going in. You don't need those. Gross Sand Beast is funny because it's an 8/8 as long as you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, but we're not bothering with that, sorry. 2 and a green for a 1/1 Squirrel Warrior. That's our honored Dre leader. It has Trample, that's important. When it enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on it for each other squirrel or food you control. So that's mentioning food again. We're definitely going to have to find a way to get ourselves some food. When another squirrel or food you control enters, we put a +1/+1 counter on this. That's why the trample is important. So if it gets big, you can actually, it's actually a threat. There were other cards that are like, oh, you can put +1/+1 counters on it, but it don't have trample or some other effect. Hazel's Brewmaster, 3 and a black for a 3/4 Squirrel Warlock. Fancy again. With Menace. I guess Squirrel Warlocks are just menacing. Whenever Hazel's Brewmaster enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and create a food token. Hey, it makes food, so that's good. Foods, oh, this is interesting. Foods you control have all activated abilities of all creatures that you exiled with the Brewmaster. That sounds pretty boss. And Architect is doing that thing. So we're just going to control X. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. Oh, nice, by the way, if you caught it. And we're going to do that just in case there's any more uncards we want. Get rid of that. Then we go down here to find the Brewmaster. Hazel of the Root Bloom, 2 a black and a green for a 3/5 Squirrel Druid this time. Tap, pay 2 life, tap X untapped tokens you control, add X mana of any combination of colors. That sounds cool. At the beginning of your end step, create a token that is a copy of target token you control. If that token is a squirrel, instead create 2 tokens that are copies of it. Exponential squirrels? Probably not exponential, I don't know my math. Okay, this is another uncard that's not going in it, and it's also from the set where they stopped silver bordering stuff, and that's sad. You have to look down here for an acorn symbol. I don't like that it is less obvious at a glance, but destroy target artifact or enchantment. Create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token for each fire extinguisher you can see from your seat. That's usually going to be 1. Depending on if you're actually playing at your kitchen table. Nested Shambler, when it dies, you get X tapped squirrels equal to its power. Maybe we can make its power bigger, that'd be cool. Nut Collector. 5 and a green for a 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may create a squirrel. And then squirrels get +2/+2 as long as you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard. Sure, that's expensive, but let's go for it. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact or creature, this gets a +1/+1 counter. It doesn't have trample or anything, but we can pay 1 a black and a green to sacrifice a creature or artifact to gain a life and draw a card. That's why we're bothering. cares about die. Squirrel Dealer is funny, but it just doesn't do enough, sadly, anymore. One squirrel or raccoon lizard bird, when it enters, you can ask a person if that's not in the game that you're playing in, do you like squirrels? If they like squirrels, you get a squirrel. Squirrel Sovereign, an anthem for our squirrels. Squirrel Nest, not even a good card, but we're still playing it. You can tap Enchanted Land so that you can tap it to make a squirrel. We play bad cards in this house. Squirrel Mob, it gets big for each squirrel on the battlefield. Squirrel Wrangler. We can sacrifice lands to either make squirrels or make squirrels bigger. We'll come back to that. Swarmyard can regenerate our squirrels. Swarmyard Massacre, we create 2 squirrels. Then, anything that is not a squirrel or one of these other non-squirrel things gets -1/-1 until in turn for each thing that you control that is a squirrel, or one of these other things that matters a lot less than squirrels. Toski, the king of squirrels. He can't be countered. He's indestructible. He has to attack. But whenever a creature we control deals combat damage to a player, we draw a card. So, yay. Thornvault Forager. We can tutor up squirrels. We can add green. We can also forage if we happen to have food or cards in our discard pile that we don't care about, to get 2 mana in any combination of colors. The Odd Acorn Gang. 3 black-green for a 5/5 with Menace, Trample, and Reach, and it's a Squirrel Warrior like our commander. Squirrels we control have tap, target squirrel gets +2/+2 and trample until end of turn. That's sweet. We can only do that as a sorcery, so we have to telegraph. When one or more squirrels we control deal combat damage to a player, we draw 1 card. So Toski gets a card for each creature. This is 1 card no matter how many it's 1 card per player. Sword of the Squeak. 2 mana for an equipment. Gets +1/+1 for each creature you control with base power, toughness 1. Base power or toughness 1. Basically all of our squirrel tokens. Whenever a hamster, mouse, rat, or squirrel, basically creatures that squeak, enter, that we control enter, we can attach Sword of the Squeak to it. Otherwise it has equipped too. That's fun. We're very near the end of squirrel cards. Underworld Hermit is 4 black. When it enters, we get a number of squirrels equal to our devotion to black. That's the black pips on our permanents. Valley Mightcaller, 1 green for a 1/1. Frog Warrior with trample. But whenever a frog, rabbit, raccoon, or squirrel enters, it gets bigger and it has trample, so that's important. Valley Rotcaller, it is a squirrel warlock, and each opponent, when it enters, because it's a warlock menace, that's definitely a thing. When it enters, each opponent loses X life and we gain X life, where X is the number of other squirrels and these other things. The reason why these have these lists and that they're valley colors is that frog, rabbit, raccoon, and squirrel are all the creatures from Bloomburrow that have green, and then squirrel, bat, lizards, and rats are all the ones that have black. And then, you know what? Normally I don't like one-time effect enters, but it creates a food, and that feels important. So now we close this. We're at 84. We have sufficient ramp. more than sufficient ramp, really. In fact, we could... Oh, no, that's... Actually, no, that is equal to something that comes into play tapped. We could, like, dump the diamonds if we wanted to. Well, when we get closer to the end, that's when we'll worry about it. We got our lands, we got our ramp, we got things that feel like removal. How many total creatures do we have? We have 20 creatures. That's not enough creatures, but so now we can put in supporting stuff like parallel lives, since that'll double our token creation. Then we want Peregrine. Oh, P-E-R-E. Peregrine Took, because when we create tokens, we get food, and we definitely want food. And then, oh, and then Peregrine Took also sacrifices 3 food to draw a card. We want Savvy Hunter, because he create. It's a he here, but I feel like it's a she in other art. Attacks or blocks, so you can get a food, and then we get a discount on card draw because it's 2 food instead of 3 to draw. And then we want Black Market again, because 2 of its abilities create tokens. One of them is kind of expensive, but still, because it's 3 life. Well, that looks suspicious. I spilled some powdered milk on my desk, and powdered milk is white. So, yeah. Great. Anyway, we still have 12 more cards. Let's see. This is where we can look. Oh, did I accidentally do any combos? No. So we go to EDH Rec. We look at artifacts. We want Skull Clamp. We want Academy Manufactor, in the hopes that we have more things that create food or treasure. We want the Lightning Greaves. Geez, I feel silly for forgetting that exists. We want Idol of Oblivion because we draw a card if we created a token. The Boots. Nuka-Cola makes food, and then we get treasure when we sacrifice food, and all of that will get us more squirrels. Any other creatures? I forgot to put the Acorn Gang in the deck. Mirkwood Bats. Our opponents lose life whenever we create or sacrifice a token. Whenever a creature dies, we get a treasure. Gilded Goose makes a food. Tokens tap for green. We're specifically avoiding Blood Artist, with the exception of the bats, because it's create or sacrifice and tokens. Soul Trader, we can trade our squirrels for treasures. That also get us a squirrel. Oh, Rest of the Endless Web, just because we get spiders. Yggdra turns all of our creatures into food artifacts. Oh, that puts us at 102. Okay, so what idea do we want? Well, the Gilded Goose makes food. We definitely want that. We want the haste. Sorry, still milk dust. I don't want to hear it either. Out of anybody. I'm going to put you in ramp. Since you make treasures. You know, we could live on the edge and take out the greaves and the boots. And then now, no, we'll do the other deck, and then we'll go to with whatever I was saying now for. So that's 100. So now we go back here, where we're back here, and we ignore everything that says squirrel. So, but we want Peregrine Took because we get food. We want Parallel Lives because it doubles our token still. We want Mirkwood Bats because we ping people whenever we create or sacrifice tokens. And then we go in here. And then we type in one or more tokens to see if we have anything else. Like we could Doubling Season, but we're not doing that. Primal Vigor, we're not doing that. So we have the 3 that do that. We also want the Goose. Because it's, you know, a loaded around card that at least repeatedly makes food. I'm going to look up the phrase created instead. Because that has me curious. Oh, Stride Hanger automation? Oh, see, there we go. Oh, see, it says artifact token. So this is specifically the food that we're making. But we also want the Academy Manufactor. And then let's go down the deep dark rabbit hole of token. Create -O non-token, because I don't care about non-tokens. Create a green insect creature token for each artifact and or creature card in your graveyard. Okay, that's not what we want. Oh, we want Idol of Oblivion. Gotta remember that. Oh, we want Arachnogenesis and Arasta again, of course. You know what? Let's dream big with the Army of the Damned to create 13 zombies. maybe even twice. This is my kind of joke right here, the attempted murder. You either put -1/-1 counters on a creature, potentially killing it, or you get birds. One way or the other. Avenger of Zendikar. I don't like the landfall nonsense, but it's the plant creatures that I care about. Bastion of Remembrance. It creates a token, but it also does this that I'm avoiding on purpose. Oh, Belladros gets us pest creatures. Bitter Blossom makes fairies. Oh, Black Market Detections, Dur. Bloodforge Battle Axe makes copies of itself. We're looking more for repeatable stuff that's easy to repeat and also cheap to repeat. But if I see a good one-shot, that'll definitely go into the deck. Again, we're purposely ignoring squirrels. Ceremonial Knife makes blood tokens, but blood tokens are not really helpful for this deck. Huh. It's expensive, but it's card draw and a food token. I like Clackbridge Troll a bit, but that's a different deck because we don't get them. Oh, Compy Swarm copies itself if a creature died at the on your turn. That's one to think about. Load more results. Oh, huh. This pumps all of our green creatures, pumps all of our black creatures, and double pumps all of our black green creatures. That's something to think about. I don't think I'm going to go that way, though. Hibbity, hibbity hop. Oh, at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice a non-demon creature. If you do, create a token that's a copy of Dreadfast Demon. It costs 7, but we are in the colors that makes that fine. And it replaces, and if our commander's out, it replaces it so we can always have a squirrel to turn into a demon. It's expensive, but like that sounds fun. You're going to hear me say that a lot if you haven't already gotten sick of me saying it. Elder Golgari is great because we can either create that token when it attacks or blocks, or we draw a card. It's also a great set of stats for how much you're paying. 3 green, 6/6, Vigilance, Reach, Trample. It is in fact a beast. In fact, you could also call it a house. Haas too, if you're so inclined. Hmm. If we have time for a third deck, I realize I know what the third deck is going to be. And I'm surprised none of the decks that came to mind were this deck. But we'll have to see how much time. Like, I sped through the first one. We'll find out why I was able to speed through it after I finish this one. Ghoul Caller Giza. We can trade a squirrel for a zombie and a squirrel. That's still good. I feel like we looked at so many cards and we're only on G. In fact, I feel like Architect is unhappy with us. I kind of want Gold Vein pick in the other one, but we're gonna see about other stuff. We can always come back. Grave Titan. If we have time for a third one, it's going to be Greta's Sweettooth or another similar commander. Nope. Okay. Hangerback Walker is a hard maybe. Helm of the Host? Yeah, sure. Didn't make it into a different deck, but I think it'll be fine for this one. Hornet Queen only does it once, but it creates... you know what? No. There's other things that I think will make it over that. If it made more for how much you're paying, it'd probably be cool. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it'd be cooler. There's that Hydra that explodes into treasure when it dies. That's Idol from Oblivion before we forget. Jadar gives us a zombie with Decade at the end of our turn. Jozu Vest for the low price of 7 and 3 black. We get him and an additional 8 zombies. I still kind of want to use all the bobbleheads in a deck, but like they're 3 mana each. That is just a hard ask. March of the World Ooze is just hilarious. 3 green. Creatures you control have base power and toughness 6/6 and are oozes in addition to their other types. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if it's not their turn, you get a 3/3 elephant. I mean, your 3/3 elephant is a 6/6 ooze elephant. But if this ever goes away, at least you have a 3/3 elephant. I'm going to put that in. We'll see how long it lasts. Because again, that's funny. If it ain't fun, it's funny. And those are good enough reasons for me to put something in a deck. See, when I was doing all that stuff last week with poor life choices, this could have gone in it. But this will go into the version of the deck that is about madness. That's starring Chainer and or Anji Falconwrath. Oops. Move that over here so it doesn't get caught on that part of my chair. Don't mind me. Oh, the Nuka-Cola vending machine, of course. Old Gnawbone. Kinda win more, but we get treasures and squirrels. You know, so we're always assuming our commander's in play. Overlord gives us a land called Everywhere and a squirrel. The Triniform and the Triplicate Titan. Oh, creature controlled Titan, get a treasure. Of course, we want that guy again. We're probably going to pass by that one warlock that was like, sacrifice a creature, get a token, get it, and that guy's going to go in. Rolling Hamsphere. The thing is that it costs 7. I'd rather it cost less and like some of this wasn't there. Like maybe it created more hamsters but didn't do damage. I understand it getting bigger, but yeah. It's a big initial investment. That also, this is the only thing in the game that makes hamsters. And so these hamster tokens are the only hamsters in all of Magic the Gathering. Oh, besides Boo from Minsk and Boo and their various incarnations. So we have one legendary hamster and this rolling hamsphere. If I ever make a Minsk and Boo deck for this, I gotta remember that that's gotta go in as well. Otherwise it is a crime against flavor. Savvy Hunter. You know, for the same reason that Peregrine Took is in here. There's Shelob, who turns dead creatures into food. 6 mana for an 8/8 with Death Touch and Ward. She doesn't have a reach though. That is interesting. Oh, because she's always underground. Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes I feel like I should have background music playing for times like this. Because there is a lot of royalty-free music I could use. But I don't know if that would be distracting to anyone. So that's why I don't do it. Loading. Tend the Pests would be great for this if I had anything I wanted to sec for it. The Shire makes the food, but I don't feel it's worth it for the Shire to make the food. Food. No, that only makes the one thing. There's the Triplicate Titan. We're almost at the end. I don't remember seeing the thing, but it also could, oh, there it is, it's the Warren Soul Trader. There we go. Pay one life, sacrifice another creature, get a treasure. Anything that asks us to sacrifice a creature and gives us a token, I feel is good. Because it's like, oh, yeah, here you go. You get a rebate of 100%. There we go. And wow, we're only at 87. Look at that. Don't mind me. Just, you know, existence issues. There we go. So, what else? What else? What else? What else? Like, that's a replacement effect, so, like, Roaming Throne doesn't really do anything here. Oh, haha. It didn't... We lived dangerously in the other version of the deck. Do we want to live dangerously in this version of the deck? And not put in the code or the shoes? Maybe. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's see. Oh, let's also see how many creatures we have. We have 20 creatures, and we make more creatures, theoretically. The problem is, I realize, is that if we get Yavimaya out and give everyone forests, and suddenly Chatterfang is unblockable, people are going to be like, well, 3 goes into 21 7 times, and they get worried for some reason, even though they have no reason to. Let's do the old EDH Rec dance. What kind of artifacts do you think I should have, EDH Rec? Skull Clamp. Thanks for the reminder again, EDH Rec. Ashnod Altar is good for 2 other cards. One is Night Soil, because as long as other people have creature cards in their graveyard, we can eat them and turn them into creatures. And it also messes with other people's plans. The other one, I remember, MV equals 2. Colors exactly equals black green. T enchant. It was Necrogenesis. There we go. But now back to EDH Rec, and okay. So that's like a combo. It's not infinite because it's only for as many creatures as our opponents have in their discard piles. Let's see if there's any more creatures. Zulaport Cutthroat. See, we're not going there. We could put in Toski. We're ignoring every single Aristocrat's finisher. We're ignoring all of the squirrels. Oh, tokens we control can tap for green. That was a thing that we forgot to look up, and by we I mean me, of course. You are all probably sitting there go, oh, I'm wondering when he's going to do that. We can put in the Sakura Tribe Elder, even though we don't need it. Nah. I was right the 5th time. Do this. 8 more. 21 creatures. I like to have over 20 creatures. That Yargle and Multani deck is a harsh outlier because it's kind of a gimmick. Let's look at enchantments. No. Whenever a creature we control dies, we gain a life and draw a card. Yes. Creatures. Oh, it turns all of our creatures into mana dorks. Oh, and then stuff leaving our graveyard. Nope. Sylvan Library. It's kind of a weird brainstormish card. But sure. Because then our card draw is at least up to 9, and we can have 6 more cards. What kind of instants and sorceries do you think I should have? Second Harvest. Yes, that probably should have made it into the other deck as well. Plumb the Forbidden, 1 and a black. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy the spell for each creature sacrificed this way. You draw a card and lose a life. Sure with that, because maybe we'll have... Oh, that reminds me of another card we could put in. That hopefully appears under sorceries, and if it doesn't, oh, I won't be surprised. Nope, there it is. Pest Infestation. Destroy up to X target artifacts and or enchantments. Create twice X pests. Those are the things that you gain a life when they die. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. That's all of our squirrels, not our commander. I like that. I don't know. I don't know how like the thing is that I don't know if we actually have anywhere to put that mana, because we don't I mean, we could fill out the last, was like 2 slots left with some more high-end stuff. But our end is not very high. It is a board wipe for cheap stuff. We can group things by mana value to see what else of our stuff that it hits. It hits this goose. It hits Jadar. It's non-land permanents too, so it hits Sylvan Library, Night Soil, Necrogenesis. Well, it doesn't actually hit a whole lot, does it? Wow, Bitter Blossom, so... Oh, Bloodforged Battle Axe. Bloodforged Battle Axe, Gilded Goose, Skull Clamp, Soul Ring, all of our ramp. Yeah, you know what? You stopped being a good idea. I'm not one to make sacrifices. Go back to categories. We're back up to 3. What other kind of fun can we have? Oops. Go back to artifacts. Yep, we're still not doing that. You know what, we'll bootlegger stash because that amuses me. Lands we control. Nah. Lands we control create a treasure and a squirrel, assuming our commander's in play. Yeah, we're kind of doing the thing where I'm just filling out the deck because I'm running out of ideas. Viscera Seal, we can always turn everything into a Scry 1. We're also pointedly ignoring Craterhoof Behemoth. I'm not sure how we win with this deck. But I don't want to do anything too cliche, as it were. Son half is kind of funny. It turns a creature into 2 creatures. Both of them being tokens. For the common good. Green and double X, which means you pay X twice. Create X tokens that are copies of target token you control. Then tokens you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Until end of your next turn, you gain 1 life for each token you control. Sure, why not? That goes on the other side of Plum the Forbidden, which I hope I remembered that I wanted to put into the deck. There it is, yep. Oh, now we're at 100. And now is where I make a confession. The reason why I was able to blast through these decks until this third one, because I was looking at different stuff, is that I said all of these things before. I recorded 2 hours with the microphone off. Oops. So all of these decks already existed. I was, It certainly was a feeling when I went to listen to the episode to make sure the audio recorded fine, and then saw the little red light on my microphone. So, so after I'm done with this recording, since I built these decks again, I still have the originals I did. I'm going to look between them and this, and these versions, and whatever I decide I like better, that's the versions I'm going to keep. And that's the versions that'll be linked below. And, well, it's only 36, so I'm definitely going to throw down another deck. We're going to call this one Token Problems. The win con. Make tokens profit. So we're going to go up here. New deck in a new tab. Go here. Export deck. Specific categories. We want land. We want ramp and removal. And then we're going to copy. And this one is going to go, we're going to call this Food Wars. And in the command zone is going to be Greta, the Sweettooth Scourge. Even though actually she might not be the commander by the time we're done. Save those changes. Gilded Goose is staying. Anything else in here? Actually, that can probably stay because we're going to have food tokens. Bootlegger Stash can go away, though. Overlord can go away. Old Gnawbone can go away. Pitiless Plunderer can go away. Astronaut's Altar can go away. Down to 14 pieces of ramp. Pest Infestation can stay for reasons that'll become clear later. But now we do card search. And we just go O. Food, because this is a Golgari food deck. So we want Academy Manufactor. The Bone Catch Overseer, because we're probably going to be sacrificing food. Sacrifice another creature. Feasting Troll King. He creates 3 food, and then we can also sacrifice 3 food. Okay, he creates 3 food if we cast it from our hand, but then we can also sacrifice 3 food to return it from our graveyard to the battlefield. There's also the Cauldron Familiar. I'm going to put that in here to check to see, because that shouldn't be an infinite, but this is the little thing that in Standard just annoyed everyone. Because when it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses a life and we gain a life, but then we can sacrifice a food to return it from our graveyard to the battlefield, and that's that was very obnoxious, especially when you could have more than one. Ramp, if we sacrifice the food, that can go in here this time. Got a bunch of things that create food once. We'll have Galadriel the Gift Giver. Giant Skewer makes foods when it deals damage to creatures. This one gets food equal to the number of opponents we have. During your turn, artifacts you control are food in addition to their other types. And then we get a raccoon. Then we can choose to pay extra to get a raccoon every time we gain life for the first time. Yeah, Gourmand. I wish we were casting more cards from Not Our Hand for Graham O'Brien. Sorry, Graham. Oh yeah, this gives all of our food the abilities of things we've exiled. At the beginning of our end step, create a number of food tokens equal to the number of non-token creatures you had enter the battlefield under your control this turn. Sacrifice food, target creature gains indestructible until end turn, tap it. This is the alt commander. You know what, this could be the commander because she has this draw card. Although we lose a life. That's interesting. It has to attack. Killer Service. When Killer Service enters the battlefield, create a number of food tokens equal to the number of opponents you have. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 2 and sacrifice a token. If you do, create a Rhino. That can go in here. That creates a food token when it dies. We create a food token if we've attacked a turn. Oh, and then we can gain a bunch of life and then cause an opponent to lose life equal to the amount of life we gained. We'll put the Midnight Snack in. I don't think we're going to have enough halflings for Maria Doc Brandy Book to matter. Motivated Pony. No. When this comes into play... Oh, this makes our foods tap for green. Nuka-Cola vending machine, of course. That's going to be everywhere today. Peregrine Took, of course. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died, you get a food. This Pippin is very specifically being saved for a different deck. Rapacious Guest, she eats a lot. Oh, whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage to player, you get a food. Whenever you sacrifice a food, she gets a +1/+1 counter, and she has menace, so that's some form of evasion. And when she dies, an opponent loses life equal to her power, so this is all good. Savvy Hunter, of course. Whenever one or more creatures you control die, create a food token only once a turn. Yeah, and you only get 1 food. Shelob, of course. Okay, these two these two witches, you can sacrifice a food to. Well, this one's better, but this one's redundancy. To sacrifice a food to just poison your opponent. Oh, it centers or dies. I didn't notice that when I read it last time. Witch's Oven and Yergda. We're going to scroll to the top because we're probably going to go through this again. We are at 85 though. And, oh, we're still bracket 2. Good. Yeah, and we already have ramp and removal and all that. I mean, we can definitely put in more removal now. But sack outlet. Oh, we don't have the parallel lives in here yet. Parallel. Parallel lives. There. Now let's look at our types. We have 20 creatures. That's, again, that's always where I like to be. And we're living dangerously by not protecting our commander. Like, not even pretending we're going to protect our commander. So, now we're going to go into card search. And now we're going to pretend like EDH Rec is helpful. Because sometimes it is. It will remind me of a thing existing. Oh, Sir Ginger. Right. Whenever another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, Sir Ginger gets bigger and you scry 1. Inspiring Inspiring Statuary. Non-artifact spells you control have improvise, which means you can tap artifacts to pay for 1. Architect is being hateful to me. I'm still logged in, Architect. I don't know why you're being... Don't know why. There we go. Oh, Idol of Oblivion, because I keep forgetting that. Inspiring Statuary. There we go. Like, things that are food, we're not that hard up. There's a creature in here that I'm expecting to see. There's 2 creatures in here that I'm expecting to see. I think we're gonna let Chatterfang just have a rest. Oh, I didn't see the other one. The one that says tokens we control, tap for green. I forget her name, even though I put her in 2 decks already. Was she a friend? Yes, and she was already in the deck. Sweet. What about other enchantments? Oh, well, let's just grab Phyrexian Arena, because it doesn't hurt to draw cards. And then Underworld. Oh, and of course, Black Market. Haha, 8 pieces to draw. Our draw is not so anemic today. Our removal is, but it's always going to be something with me. else? What else? What else? We can go back to things with food in the name. Because, like, there's things like this, but I don't like paying that much. Second harvest, yeah. Assuming we have a lot on the field. Actually, I'm gonna go look down here. Probably want to put more black stuff in here. I need a top end. That's what I need. Old Gnawbone is making it back into the deck because it's a big thing. Let's steal stuff out of other people's discard piles. See, now I'm putting in generic value stuff. At least Old Gnawbone makes tokens, and that fits. You know what? Yeah, Chatterfang made it in. He did not get the rest. 4 more. Thought about that for a second. Then my brain drained. Probably want more black spells just to even out my colors. And again, I do want more things that'll actually finish out the game, I think. Clackbid Troll is making it into this one. Because the thing is that he's eating. Another name for this deck would have been Witherbloom Cafeteria if Guillaume here had been the commander. This is bothering me. Paying extra money just so it isn't foil. That's how it is sometimes. We could put in other removal pieces. I mean, we probably should put in other removal pieces, considering that is the part that is is the most anemic. This is also a deck that wasn't built in the previous incarnation of this episode, the one that didn't get recorded, or that didn't get its sound recorded. Going back over here. Let's go all card types just to see what the mix is. What is this experimental confessioner? Oh, sacrifice food to make a rat. Okay. Oh, you know what? Whenever we sacrifice the food, we may pay 1. If we do, look at the top 2 cards of our library. We may reveal a permanent card to put them in our hand, so that's more card draw. That could be a reason to put in Krark Clan Ironworks, which I'm surprised didn't get recommended to me any of the times. That I looked at the artifacts. Because that allows us to sacrifice an artifact to add 2. Sorry, I was looking for something. So we're going to add that for now. Would help if I spelled her name correctly. Yeah, that sacrifices a creature. So that's why we got to have Krark Clan Ironworks. Because it's Ashnod's altar, but you have to do it with artifacts. So now, with Trail of Crumbs, we sacrifice the food. And we can use one of that mana for this and one of the mana for something else. Don't know. There's no real infinites there, but it's just another thing where things go together. Oh, and that hit 100. So yeah, and we're almost at 2 hours. So yeah, I'm gonna look at the various versions of the decks that I built, and whatever I'm most happy with will be the ones that you see in the links in the descriptions. And I'll see you next week for Gruul, Gruul, the color combination of red and green, and also the last 2 color combination in the series. After that, it'll be 3 color combinations, where the mana bases start to actually get tricky. See you then.